Okay, let's work with these guys. I'm asking you to give me equivalent fractions or equal fractions. Equal fractions could be obtained if you multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So for example, let's say I want to multiply this by 3. I multiply the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3. So upstairs I will have 3, downstairs I will have 6. Another equal fraction will be if I decide to multiply this, let's say, by 5, and then I will have to multiply the numerator by 5 as well, and that will be 5 over 10. Or it could be 7 over 14. And I can backtrack this and simplify this by saying this is 1 over 2, and this is 1 over 2. And this is 1 over 2. So the idea is you can simplify the fractions to the bare form of 1 over 2. Now 3 over 7, I can multiply this by, let's say, 5, which will give me 15 over 35. Or multiplied by 4, 12 over 28, and so on and so forth. So that's how you give equivalent fractions. Now let's look at how we can add fractions with different denominators. When I have fractions with the same denominator, say I have 2 over 7 plus 3 over 7. I keep the denominators the same, so it's a 7, and then 2 plus 3, I add these two, and that will give me 5 over 7. So you do not add the denominators, you keep them the same way. But here I have a fraction 1 over 2 plus a fraction 2 over 3. The denominators are different. So what I'm looking at is the least or the smallest common denominator for 2 and 3. It would be 6. So to get the first fraction into a fraction that has the denominator of 6, I have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 3. So I will do 3 over 2 times 3 is 6. So 3 over 6, that's the equivalent fraction or equal fraction. And then 2 over 3, to turn that one into a fraction with the denominator of 6, I would have to multiply both by 2. So that would give me 4 over 6. And together, that will be 7 over 6. And then to make this a mixed number, 7 divided by 6 will give me 1 whole. And then 1 times 6 is 6. And that leaves me with 1. So you can always check yourself. 1 times 6 is 6 plus 1 gives you 7 over 6. So the answer again is 1 whole and 1/6. B. Here we have 3 over 4 plus 5 over 6. Now the common denominator, the least common denominator for these two would be 12. I can raise this to 12 by multiplying by 3, and this by multiplying both numerator and denominator by 2. So that would give me 9 over 12 plus 10 over 12. Or you can actually do it this way. You can just put 12 as your denominator, common denominator, and then work with the numerators. We'll have upstairs 9 plus 10, and that gives me 19 twelfths. And we'll get this handled. 12 goes into 19 once, so that's 1 whole. 1 times 12 is 12, and that gives me a 7 remainder as a remainder. So 1 times 12. 12 plus 7 is 19, so this is good. 7 over 5 plus 3 over 4. The common denominator will be 20, which is basically like multiplying 5 times 4. So 20 is my common denominator. And when I multiply the denominators by each other, then I can just multiply the crisscross like that. So then 7 times 4 is 28. And 5 times 3 is 15. So that gives me 43 over 20. I can do 20 times 2. That is 40, and the remainder is 3. So 2 wholes and 3/20. Now here we have the subtraction, but that is the same thing. Now notice that I have 3 and 12. 12, I can raise 3 to 12, so I don't have to multiply 3 times 12 and get a 36. I can just turn 2/3 into a fraction with the denominator of 12 by multiplying both the up and downstairs by 4. So that will give me the denominator of 12 as a common one. And then 2 times 4 is 8, minus 5 will be 3 over 12. And then I can simplify that by dividing by 3, and that will leave me with 1 over 4. 18/24 minus 2/3. Again, 24. I can raise my 3 to 24 by multiplying by 8. So both numerator and the denominator multiplied by 8. 24 is my common. 18 minus 16. That gives me 2 over 24. And I can simplify that to 1 over 12. Here, 12 and 24, I can raise 12 to 24 by multiplying times 2. 24 is my common denominator. 10 minus 4. That will give me 6 over 24. And then I can divide by 6, and that will give me 1 over 4. So my answer is 1/4. Now here we have mixed numbers. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to solve this. You can turn these 2 mixed numbers into 2 improper fractions. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So I can say 8 over 3 minus, and then 1 times 4 is 4 plus 2, 6 over 4. And then deal with finding the common denominator. The common denominator will be 12. I have to multiply 8 times 4, 32. Minus 3 times 8 is 18. 32 minus 18 is 14. So 14/12. I can simplify this by dividing by 2, 7 over 6, which is 1 and 1/6. The other way is to deal with your whole numbers separately. So 2 minus 1 is 1. And then you deal with fractions. So 2 over 3 minus 2 over 4. And that will be, common denominator is 12 again. So 12, 8 minus 6, 2/12, which is 1 over 6 when you simplify this. So we have this 1 from 2 minus 1 as whole numbers, and then 1 over 6 from subtracting the actual fractions. So then altogether, my answer will be 1 and 1/6, which is the same as we got up here doing it through improper fractions. So my answer is 1 and 1/6. I'm going to do the next one just dealing with whole numbers and fractions separately. All right, so 5 plus 2 gives me a 7. And then 7/8 plus 3/4. I'll raise this to 8. So that will give me 7 over 8 plus 6 over 8, which is 13 over 8, which turns into a mixed number 1 and 5/8. Then, again, I had 7 from adding 5 plus 2, and adding to it is 1 and 5/8. Together, that will give me 8 and 5/8. Now, C is actually the same as A, so I'm not going to do it again. Sorry, I didn't notice when I was making the worksheet. 5 and 7/6 plus 3 and 7/8. 5 plus 3 is 8. 7/6 plus 7/8. The common denominator would be 24. So I'm going to raise 6 to 24 by multiplying by 4. 7 times 4 is 28. And I will raise 8 to 24 by multiplying by 3, which means I will have to multiply 7 by 3 as well. So plus 21. Together that gives me 49 over 24. Now 24 can go into 49 twice. 2 times 24 is 48, and that leaves me one remainder. Together, 8 plus 2 and 1 24th gives me 10 and 1 24th. And this is it for adding and subtracting fractions with different denominators and mixed numbers while you're at it.